real well. I look like I'm having a mini stroke, so that might not be good.
Seems like every year they got something going on. She's 8, and she's not. I don't think she wants to be. Yeah.
Good, you're looking well.
You good? Ready to go? All right, it's 9:30. We'll go ahead and get started on our pre-meeting work session, and we'll have our regular council meeting starting at 10. We will have a proclamation from the mayor for Austin High Varsity Cheerleader State Championship, and then followed with the Tennessee Valley Chapter Sons of the American Revolution right after that. Approval of minutes, no changes that I know of. Any questions? Approved monthly bills, there were no changes. Any questions? Public hearings, Resolution 22-360, approve a request for off-premise beer and wine for Downtown Mini Mart located at 1016 Avenue, Northeast Decatur, Alabama 35601.
No changes.
Any questions? All right, resolutions. Resolution 22-361, approved request for a special use permit for AT&T to modify equipment on an existing tower located at 2524 Point Mallard Drive, Southeast. I don't see David, but I don't think there were any changes.
No, any changes?
Any questions? All right, Resolution 22-362, approve request for a special use permit for AT&T to modify equipment on an existing tower located at 4216 Highway 31 South. Any questions? Resolution 22-363, approve special use permit extension for Dish Wireless for installation of equipment on existing tower located at 1406 Chadwell Street.
No, any change.
Any questions? Then Resolution 22-364, approve extension of special use permit for Dish Wireless to install equipment on existing tower located at 105 14th Street Southwest. Any questions? Resolution 22-365, approve the replacement repair of the undercarriage for the Cat D7 Dozier. Any questions? Resolution 22-366, authorize the mayor to execute the Esri contract. Okay, any questions? Resolution 22-367, approve City of Decatur street light energization, Highway 20 and bridge near Bibb Garrett Road, City of Athens Utilities aid to construction. Any questions? Resolution 22-368, approve Paleo West to do marker mapping at Sykes Cemetery.
No changes, unless the council has.
Any questions? Resolution 22-369, approve Shoal Markland Architecture for architecture services for Everyday Sunshine Park.
No changes.
All right, any questions? Resolution 22-370, award bid number 23001 for construction of cell 16 at the landfill to T&K Construction in the amount of $2,951,794.98. All right, any questions? And then the next three were additions. Resolution 22-371, accept AMRV grant for Ray Road Park. Resolution 22-372, accept AMRV grant for Francis Nungester Park. And Resolution 225-373, accept AMRV grant for Burning Tree Park.
Just be glad to answer any questions. Thank y'all for adding these, but these are just the agreements for these three grants.
Okay, any questions on those three? Those are no match, 50,000
match.
apiece.
The grants are no match,
Yeah,
but
and
y'all got money in, y'all.
for additional
Yeah, y'all
costs.
budgeted money for additional costs.
Got it. All right, any other questions, discussion on those? All right, boards and committees, reappoint Nora Vanderplug to the Personnel Board, term expiring December 31st, 2027. This is her second term. Any questions? All right, I will turn it over to Caroline. She's got a presentation for us from the HPC.
I know y'all been waiting with bated breath for this one. It's a mandated CLG update as part of our federal CLG responsibilities. All right, first slide, please. So Decatur is what is called a certified local government. The responsibilities for that with our agreement with the federal government is they maintain a historic preservation commission. We have properties surveyed or archaeological sites, some municipalities have those. Review any National Register nominations. We provide a venue for public participation in historic preservation and enforce state and local preservation laws. There are benefits to being a CLG. We receive special grants from the federal government. They go through the state government. We get technical assistance from the state, and we have legal status as a consulting stakeholder in federally funded projects. And we have at least one of those a year that comes across my desk that we would not necessarily be notified of otherwise. Next, please. So some of the responsibilities for the commission. Next. We have a commission with 7 members currently. I know we're looking at shifting some next year on how that works. All commissioners are required to train several hours a year per state requirements. Terms are 3 years with option to renew. Our commissioners went through 88 hours of training this year, which is a lot for a commission. Some of the hours were remote, some of the hours were in person here, and we had one commissioner that went to Cincinnati to the federal training. Next, please. Design review guidelines. The commission works off of a set of design review standards for the districts. We had 82 applications for work within the districts this year. 68% of them went through a fast track process. That is when the commission has consistently ruled on minor projects long enough that they authorize staff to sign off on those. Those normally get turned within 24 to 48 hours from hitting my desk. Anything larger, whether it is an addition, new build, more complex projects, maybe things that have not come before the commission before, they go through the full commission. They have a 97% approval rate with things that come in front of them. Next, please. Historic preservation and property values. Does historic designation and oversight, which is what you have in a local district, impact property values? The best source for this is Place Economics, which is an economic development firm run by Donovan Ripkema. He is internationally known for his work. Every municipality, with the exception of Manhattan proper, because it's unique being an island, has significantly higher property values when it has local design review. And the numbers up there are some of the ones that I pulled from his report. He has spoken in Decatur before. It's been a few years, but he gives really interesting presentations. And he does not consider himself a preservationist. He is a hardcore economics person that every time he runs the numbers, he was like, there's some good stuff going on here. Next, please. Historic tax credit activity. We have 6 active tax credits within the municipality, 2 that I'm working on right now for possible applicants. 1, which is the tower building, which has been paused. We're sort of waiting to see where that one goes. It is one of the few programs at the federal level that actually returns money because there is a larger investment in it than the public output, and we have a state match with that as well. Next, please. Commission was busy this year. They gave out preservation awards in May, and these are just some of them. We had more than I could get the pictures on there. There's some really happy homeowners, and then John Godwin, who retired, having been a long-serving architect for the commission. Next, please. The commission also won awards this year. I was in Cincinnati, which is a every other year conference for the National Association of Preservation Commissioners. It's the first time that an Alabama municipality has won. So the state office sent representatives up as well. They were sitting behind me. They're like, we're like proud stage moms right now. They were very excited. It was a pretty big award, and it was interesting when I was looking at a funding resource in Washington, D.C. I called random phone number for the National Park Service. Person picked up the phone. She immediately knew who we were because of this award. So that's a really good thing when you call grant-giving agencies and they recognize your name. I was really, really pleased with that. Next, please. We also won an award for work on the Little Girl Scout house. That was a state award through Alabama Main Street. We're still working on that. COVID supply disruption has impacted finding new front doors, but we're looking at restoring the front doors to something closer to what was on there originally. Next, please. Certified local government benefits. Next, the biggest one this year, we had a grant to resurvey the Albany Commercial District. Approximately 146 properties, 78-page survey report plus forms, and about 500 photos. So we're looking at the next year and expanding tax credit possibilities within Albany Commercial because we are expanding the range of that district potentially, as well as the period of interpretation. And I get a lot of questions about 2nd Avenue Albany a lot, so this was one we were very pleased to get funding for. Next, please. They finished up a window restoration grant workshop out of the 2022 grant allocations. The Princess Theater had a full historic structures report, which they're now using to prioritize work and to also acquire additional grant funds. And the 2 publications that came out for tax credits and for people that live within the district. So we received just under, just over 38,000 in grants for this past year. Next, please. Consulting stakeholder in federally funded projects, that is cell phone towers, and also road work are the most common ones. So this past year, we had received word early on that they were looking at doing a 200-foot cell phone tower behind Bank Street. There were discussions on possibly finding a better location for that. Those are the types of reviews that come through the federal government. Next, please. And then the Alabama Historical Commission, this is their full office. I sort of consider them like our remote office. I probably call Montgomery half a dozen times a week. They earn every bit of their CLG status with us because I am constantly calling them, whether it is looking for additional grant opportunities, finding other CLGs to meet with that have some of the same challenges, problem solving. It is a great group of people to work with and to have access to them in a way that we would not if we did not have a CLG status with the federal government. So that is the report for the year. We just are starting work on this next year's. So one of the things we're looking forward to is I'm meeting tomorrow with a consultant starting January next year. We're updating the design review standards. So consultant comes down from Nashville tomorrow. We're going to go through the districts and start working on that. That is our biggest project that is set for this coming year. We have others we're still waiting to hear back on grant money for.
Thanks, Caroline. Any questions for Caroline? Thank you. That was good. Good info.
Y'all have a good Christmas.
All right, we will get started at 10 o'clock, council meeting. All right, call the meeting to order. Pastor Don with Fairview Baptist Church will lead us in our invocation and pledge.
Shall we pray? Our Father which art in heaven, we come during this Christmas season to consider your transcendence, that you are above and beyond in a class by yourself, and yet out of a heart of love and mercy and grace, you have descended to us in your Son, Jesus Christ, whose birth we celebrate this Christmas season. We thank you for every good gift which comes from above, and especially the indescribable gift of your Son, Jesus, who came to die for us that we might live with you forever. We thank you today for the opportunity to conduct the business of the city of Decatur. We pray that you would guide us in our thoughts, in our words, in our actions. May all of them be pleasing to you, I pray. In Jesus' name, amen. And amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Roll call.
Wagner.
Here.
McMasters.
Here.
Jackson.
Here.
Pike.
Here.
Pepper.
Here. All right, our first item, we have some state champions with us today. We'll let the mayor take it from there.
All right, so Coach Aria Jackson, if you and everyone associated with the varsity cheerleading team, if you'll join me up here, we have a proclamation for you. And of all things, this is really the first day of, y'all come on up, first day of no school, I believe, and we get you out of bed early to come up here for this, but it's something very important. All right, so we have a proclamation from the city of Decatur, Alabama, whereas the 2022-23 Austin High School cheerleading squad qualified to compete in the Alabama High School Athletic Association state cheer competition on December the 5th, 2022 in Birmingham, Alabama. And whereas the Austin High School cheerleading squad won first place in varsity game day 7A championship competition. And whereas the Austin High School cheerleading squad has proven its excellence by bringing home a state title and has represented the city of Decatur in an outstanding manner. And whereas it is fitting and appropriate that we recognize the hard work, dedication, and high level of enthusiasm exhibited by all of the members of the Austin High School cheerleading squad. Now therefore I, Tab Boland, Mayor of the city of Decatur, Alabama, and City Council do hereby deem it an honor and privilege to extend our congratulations on behalf of myself and the council on your exceptional performance. Congratulations.
We would just like to thank everybody for their support and all the recognition we've gotten since we've been back and we've got this title.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. We'll let everybody clear out for just a second. All right, next we have recognition of our first responders from the Tennessee Valley Chapter Sons of the American Revolution, and I will turn the program over to Benny Hanna. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
First, I'd like to thank the council for giving us the opportunity to appear here and have the opportunity to share these awards with some fine gentlemen today. My name is Benny Hanna. I'm the chairman of the Public Service and Heroism Committee for our Tennessee Valley chapter. I'm also a member of the National Committee. With me today is our chapter president, Dudley Burwell, and our color guard, Lawrence Hillis, dressed in appropriate attire. Just quickly, all of our members are all bloodline descendants of someone who either fought or participated in the American Revolution. And so we're proud of our chapter here, the Tennessee Valley chapter. We have about 210 members, and we are the largest chapter in the state of Alabama, and we're also considered probably one of the most active chapters in the entire United States. So we're kind of proud of that. But every year we award these honors to public service individuals across Madison, Morgan, and Limestone counties. And today we're specifically here to honor a special group of individuals from Morgan County. I would like to start by inviting our first recipient up, and that's Officer Jack Brown. Would you come on up, please? If you want to stand here beside our president, I'll give a quick reason that. Stand on the other side. Okay. On August 16, 2022, Officer Jack Brown was outside his residence when a suspicious vehicle, a black Jeep Wrangler, pulled into his driveway. Officer Brown approached the vehicle, at which time the vehicle quickly backed out of the driveway and crashed into another vehicle. While on the phone, so he had his cell phone with him, he immediately called 911 to ask for officer assistance. While the phone with 911, the suspect in the Jeep accelerated toward Officer Brown and attempted to run him over. Officer Brown was able to jump out of the way, ran into the house, and alerted his kids inside while he grabbed his service pistol and handcuffs. While Officer Brown didn't know at the moment was the suspect had exited the vehicle and attempted to follow him into his residence. When Officer Brown went back outside to confront the suspect did not comply with Officer Brown's commands to give up. The suspect then backed his vehicle up quickly and again into the roadway. Officer Brown was standing in the driveway when the suspect sped forward. Officer Brown fired several shots into the vehicle before being struck by the vehicle. Officer Brown was thrown into the neighbor's front yard from the impact and was injured. The suspect attempted to get back up to run over Officer Brown, but Officer Brown did not give up. He got up and struggled with the suspect until his neighbor came out and helped him. The suspect was taken into custody and charged with attempted murder along with other charges. Officer Brown was awarded the Purple Heart and Medal of Merit by his department for his actions that day. We, the members of the Tennessee Valley chapter, would now like to present Officer Brown with our Law Enforcement Commendation Certificate and Medal for his actions that day. Do you have any family here today, or? Did we get a quick picture with the kids? They were part of this. Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay, next, we're going to move on to the fire department. I'd like to invite Alan Moody up to the podium. Oh. Alan, you want to stand right here beside Dudley? Just after 3 a.m. on November 4th, 2022, D.E. Moody was the acting officer assigned to Ladder 3. They were returning from a vehicle fire when they were flagged down and informed of the structural fire with the report of 4 people inside. On arrival, they were met with heavy fire conditions that were rapidly spreading. Since other crews had been dispatched, Ladder 3 had to operate alone for the first few minutes. They were operating at minimum staffing, only 3 people. So they had to simultaneously perform fire attack and search while other crews made their way to the scene. D.E. Moody placed himself in incredible danger, entering the structure alone and began looking for the trapped occupants. Brandon Strickland arrived next as the shift chief, and from the front door could see D.E. Moody moving from room to room as another member was keeping the fire at bay. After Strickland finished a quick survey of the house from the exterior and made his way back to the front, D.E. Moody had located an unconscious female and was removing her to the front yard. Again, for perspective, Strickland said the image he saw that night was like nothing he had witnessed before. With fire literally rolling just over the head, he watched him save this citizen who was seconds away from death. CPR was started immediately after she was removed. Within a few minutes, she began trying to breathe on her own. Due to the nature of the injuries, the decision was made to transport her by air ambulance to the UAB Burn Center. Before she reached the helipad at Decatur General, she had regained consciousness and was answering questions. By the next day, she was stable and alert at UAB. She is expected to make a complete recovery with no long-term issues. We, the members of our SAR chapter, would now like to present D.E. Moody with our Heroism Commendation Certificate and Medal. President Dudley, will you make the presentation?
Mr. Hanna, Mr. Hanna, just a point of information for those that don't know, DE driver engineer. Driver engineer,
right.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, our next driver engineer is Dustin Holbert. Would you please come up? Thank you for that information. I'm sure I had to look it up myself. On February the 9th, 2022, D.E. Holbert was the acting officer assigned to the Heavy Rescue Unit. They were dispatched to an industrial grain processing plant for a person engulfed in soybeans. On arrival, the victim was located inside the grain vessel that can hold up to 1 million bushels of soybean. For perspective, 1 million bushels of soybean weighs about 60 million pounds, and when in bulk, is like quicksand. Almost no one survives from being trapped in grain. Just being waist deep will take 600 pounds plus the body weight of vertical pull to remove them. In this case, the victim was engulfed up to his arms at the bottom of a mound of beans approximately 100 feet tall. Workers presently explained that they had been dealing with moisture issues causing the product to clump. Normally the surface would remain much more flat, and in this case, they couldn't believe the pile hadn't already collapsed, fully submerging the worker. Holbert put himself at tremendous risk in making his way to the victim in order to assist him. He remained with him providing him breathing air with a scuba, and continually developing a plan to remove him. On average in the United States, it takes more than 12 hours to remove a victim, and again, almost none survive. That night, the victim was out in less than 3 hours and was not injured. According to Brandon Strickland, Shift Battalion Chief, who has been involved in emergencies for the last 23 years, said this incident was probably the most dangerous thing that he's been part of. D.E. Holbert worked fearlessly in an ultra-hazardous environment and was able to successfully rescue one of our citizens. At this point, I'd like to ask our President Dudley Burwell to present D.E. Holbert with our Heroism Commendation Certificate and Medal for his actions. You have anything?
I do, my wife's here.
Gotta come up front. You're part of the team. Thank you. Thanks again. Great job. We really appreciate it. Okay. Now I have officers here from the Morgan County Sheriff's Department. I'd like to ask Deputies Roberts, Bingham, and Boning to please join me up front. Deputies Kel Roberts, Jerry Bingham, and Jacob Bowen responded to a possible explosion at 1750 Highway 231 at Dunlap's Trailer Park on May 27, 2022. Deputies were notified by dispatch that a trailer was on fire and possibly entrapment. The deputies arrived and immediately noticed the trailer was on fire and could hear someone inside yelling. Without hesitation, these deputies entered the residence. Immediately, once inside the residence, the deputies had to exit because of the extreme heat. Deputy Roberts returned to the inside of the residence looking for the occupants. He was successful in locating the occupant. He was lying on a bed semi-conscious from smoke inhalation. The room was so hot the light fixtures and the lamps had melted and were lying on the floor. Deputies Bingman and Boning had re-entered the residence and joined Deputy Roberts in removing the occupants from the burning home. Deputy Roberts stayed with the occupants outside while Bingham and Boeing returned inside the residence looking for any other occupants. The living room portion of the residence was fully engulfed at that time. They were able to locate a water hose outside and partly extinguish the fire while waiting for the fire department to arrive. The occupants of the residence, later identified as Tracy Lynn Borden, was not able to walk out of the residence and had to be carried out by these deputies. He had minor injuries and was transported by EMS to the hospital, surviving the fire. We as members of the Tennessee Valley Chapter Sons of the American Revolution would now like to present Deputies Roberts, Bingham, and Boeing with our Heroism Commendation Certificate and Medal for their actions that day. President Burwell, please present the awards. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you very much. Great job. I appreciate all you do. And I'd like to thank the council for giving us. Family members. You got I was afraid I was taking all your time, so I was trying to rush.
No worries at all.
I would also like to note that we publish a national magazine, and all of the recipients today will be in that national magazine. So we'll like to share that with you when it comes out, probably sometime after July this year. Thank you very much again for all you do for us.
Thank you, Mr. Hanna, and those are awesome stories, and thank you for honoring the folks that you did today, so thanks for being here.
Thank you.
All right, we will move into our agenda. You guys are welcome to stay or leave, totally up to you. We'll give them a few minutes to leave. All right, we'll go ahead and move into our agenda. Approval of minutes, we'll take these together. November 28th, 2022, 4:30 p.m. special called council meeting. November 28th, 2022, 5 p.m. work session. December 6th, 2022, 5:30 p.m. work session. December 6th, 2022, 6 p.m. council meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Mr. McMaster, second by Mr. Pike. Any discussion? Roll call.
Wagner.
Aye.
McMasters.
Aye.
Jackson.
Aye.
Pike.
Aye.
Pepper.
Aye.
These minutes are approved 5-0. Next, we have our monthly bills. Approved November 2022 monthly bills.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Pepper,
Second.
second by Mr. Pike. Any discussion? Roll call.
Wagner.
Aye.
McMasters.
Aye.
Jackson.
Aye.
Pike.
Aye.
Pepper.
Aye.
Monthly bills are approved 5-0. Next is a public hearing. Resolution 22-360, approve a request for off-premise beer and wine for Downtown Mini Mart located at 101 6th Avenue Northeast, Decatur, Alabama 35601.
This is a change in ownership request.
All right, this is a public hearing, so we'll open the hearing now if there's anyone here to speak. All right, seeing no one here to speak, we'll consider the public hearing closed.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Mr. McMaster, second by Mr. Pike. Any discussion? Roll call.
Wagner.
Aye.
McMasters.
Aye.
Jackson.
Aye.
Pike.
Aye.
Pepper.
Aye.
Resolution 22-360 is approved 5-0. Next is Resolution 22-361, approved request for a special use permit for AT&T to modify equipment on an existing tower located at 2524 Point Mallard Drive Southeast. David.
Good morning, President, Council Mayor. David Enders with CMS. This first resolution is for an application made to modify the existing site. They are already providing service from this site. It's a 190-foot monopole tower. They're requesting to remove 6 antennas and replace them with new antennas and associated radio equipment. CMS has reviewed the application and recommends approval, and this is for a 5G technology upgrade.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Mr. McMaster, second by Mr. Pike. Any discussion? Roll call.
Wagner.
Aye.
McMasters.
Aye.
Jackson.
Aye.
Pike.
Aye.
Pepper.
Aye.
Resolution 22-361 is approved 5-0. Resolution 22-362, approved request for a special use permit for AT&T to modify equipment on an existing tower located at 4216 Highway 31 South.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Pepper,
Second.
second by Mr. Pike. Any discussion? Let us know what that one is.
It's a 320-foot guide tower. AT&T is providing service on this tower. They're requesting to add 3 additional antennas to the tower, and this is for 5G technology upgrade. CMS has reviewed and recommends approval by the council.
All right, we got a motion and a second. Any discussion? Roll call.
Wagner.
Aye.
McMasters.
Aye.
Jackson.
Aye.
Pike.
Aye.
Pepper.
Aye.
Resolution 22-362 approved 5-0. Resolution 22-363 approved special use permit extension for Dish Wireless for installation of equipment on an existing tower located at 1406 Chadwell Street.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Pepper,
Second.
second by Mr. Pike. David.
Yes, sir. This is a special use permit for Dish Wireless to co-locate on the tower at 1406 Chadwell. Dish Wireless was approved in January for the special use permit. They let the permit expire, and they did not complete the work. They've requested now to come back and reinitiate the permit so they can complete the work. They will pay an additional application fee to the city before a building permit is processed by the city, and CMS has reviewed the application and recommends approval.
All right, any other discussion?
There was significant opposition to this tower when it was originally put up by the community that it's in, and I didn't support it then, so I won't support an addition or an alteration to it at this particular point.
All right, any other discussion? Roll call.
Ladner.
Aye.
McMasters.
Aye.
Jackson.
No.
Pike.
Aye.
Pepper.
Aye.
Resolution 22-363 is approved 4-1. Resolution 22-364, approve extension of special use permit for Dish Wireless to install equipment on an existing tower located at 105 14th Street Southwest.
Yes, sir. This is the same thing with Dish Wireless. They were approved January the 3rd for this special use permit. They're going to co-locate on the tower to provide new service from the area. They let the permit expire. Now they've come back and requested an extension. They are going to pay a new permit application to the city permit fee, and CMS has reviewed the application and recommends approval.
So moved.
Second. Motion by Mr. Pepper, second by Mr. Pike. Any discussion? Roll call.
Ladner.
Aye.
McMasters.
Aye.
Jackson.
Aye.
Pike.
Aye.
Pepper.
Aye.
Resolution 22-364 is approved 5-0. Thanks, David. Resolution 22-365, approve the replacement repair of the undercarriage for the CAT D7 dozer. Wanda?
Yes, we have the, one of two of our dozers. This is the D7. Has about 4,000 hours on it, and it's time for new tracks and sprockets and rollers. So we're asking for your approval for this repair.
So moved.
Second. Motion by Mr. McMaster, second by Mr. Pike. Any discussion? Roll call.
Ladner.
Aye.
McMasters.
Aye.
Jackson.
Aye.
Pike.
Aye.
Pepper.
Aye.
Resolution 22-365 is approved 5-0. Resolution 22-366, authorize the mayor to execute the ESRI contract.
Good morning, Mayor and Council. Director of Information Systems, Brad Phillips. This is a resolution to allow the mayor to execute a software license agreement with ESRI for a 3-year period. It also includes provisions for Decatur Utilities to reimburse us $26,000 per year as they share the license with us.
So moved.
Second. Motion by Mr. McMaster, second by Mr. Pike. Any discussion? Roll call.
Ladner.
Aye.
McMasters.
Aye.
Jackson.
Aye.
Pike.
Aye.
Pepper.
Aye.
Resolution 22-366, approved 5-0. Resolution 22-367, approve City of Decatur streetlight energization, Highway 20 and bridge near Bibb Garrett Road, City of Athens Utilities aid to construction.
Yeah, this is part of our Bibb Garrett overpass project with the lighting. It's for Athens Utilities to set the meters so we can turn the lights on out there.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. McMaster, second by Mr. Pike. Any discussion? Roll call.
Ladner.
Aye.
McMasters.
Aye.
Jackson.
Aye.
Pike.
Aye.
Pepper.
Aye.
Hey, Carl, can we get, while we're all together, just a quick update on when we expect to see the project completed?
Right now, it's depending on weather and whatnot. I think the contractors were looking end of January, first part of February.
Okay.
With December's rains, I'm sure that put them a little bit behind, but I think we're still looking for that target.
Thank you.
Thanks, Carl. Resolution 22-367 was approved 5-0. Resolution 22-368, approved Paleo West to do marker mapping at Sykes Cemetery.
Yes, Council Mayor Alan Stover with the Community Development Department. This is an agreement with Paleo West to do marker mapping at Sykes. We received a grant to do that, so we're just requesting that y'all approve this agreement.
Motion by Mr. Pike,
Second.
second by Mr. McMasters. Any discussion? Roll call.
Ladner.
Aye.
McMasters.
Aye.
Jackson.
Aye.
Pike.
Aye.
Pepper.
Aye.
Resolution 22-368 is approved 5-0. Resolution 22-369, approve Shoal Markland Architecture for architecture services for Everyday Sunshine Park.
As the council mayor is aware, Jeff Sharp has been very active over the last 3 or 4 years of trying to get Everyday Sunshine Park to a point to where he would sort of transfer from his private endeavors to a city project. And at this point, the community development and the Parks and Recreation Department feel like it's that point to where we need to assume the ownership of that so we can bid. And we've got some grant money to get it to a point, and then some donations from Mr. Sharp. So we just request y'all's approval for the architectural services for Shoals and Markland.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Mr. McMaster, second by Mr. Pike. Any discussion? Roll call.
Ladner.
Aye.
McMasters.
Aye.
Jackson.
Aye.
Pike.
Aye.
Pepper.
Aye.
Resolution 22-369 is approved 5-0. Resolution 22-370, award bid number 23001 for construction of cell 16 at the landfill to T&K Construction in the amount of $2,951,794.98.
So we've completed the subgrade for the sale. Now we have to line it before we can put garbage in it. We had one bidder. This is with T&K, and they came out with this amount. And we ask for your approval.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. McMasters,
Second.
second by Mr. Pike. Any discussion? Roll call.
Ladner.
Aye.
McMasters.
Aye.
Jackson.
Aye.
Pike.
Aye.
Pepper.
Aye.
Resolution 22-370 is approved 5-0. Next is Resolution 22-371, accept AMRV grant for Ray Road Park.
Yes, these are grants from Alabama Mountain Rivers and Valleys to provide $50,000 for each one of these parks. We're just requesting y'all's approval to accept these 3 grants.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Pepper,
Second.
second by Mr. McMasters. Any discussion? Roll call.
Ladner.
Aye.
McMasters.
Aye.
Jackson.
Aye.
Pike.
Aye.
Pepper.
Aye.
Resolution 22-371 is approved 5-0. Next is Resolution 22-372, accept AMRV grant for Francis Nunguster Park.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Pepper,
Second.
second by Mr. McMasters. Any discussion? Roll call.
Ladner.
Aye.
McMasters.
Aye.
Jackson.
Aye.
Pike.
Aye.
Pepper.
Aye.
Resolution 22-372 approved 5-0. Resolution is that right? 22-373. I think we have an extra 5 in there. 22-373, accept AMRV grant for Burning Tree Park.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Pepper,
Second.
second by Mr. McMasters. Any discussion? Roll call.
Ladner.
Aye.
McMasters.
Aye.
Jackson.
Aye.
Pike.
Aye.
Pepper.
Aye.
Resolution 22-373 approved 5-0. Next, we have boards and
Thank you.
committees. Thanks, Alan. Reappoint Nora Vanderplug to the Personnel Board, term expiring December 31st, 2027. This would be her second full term.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. McMasters.
Second.
Second by Mr. Pike. Any discussion? Roll call.
Ladner.
Aye.
McMasters.
Aye.
Jackson.
Abstain.
Pike.
Aye.
Pepper.
Aye.
All right, that reappointment is approved 4-0 with 1 abstention. Our next council work session will be held on December 27th, 2022 at 5 p.m. The next regular council meeting will be held on January 3rd, 2023 at 6 p.m. Those are both Tuesdays for everybody. Anything else from directors? I know Herman's got one for us.
Yeah, okay. Herman March, Jr., City Attorney. Reflecting back, as we know, the deadline for medical cannabis dispensing sites has to be sent to the commission by December the 30th. So in order to accommodate, we have one that we're able to, Building Department and Planning Department are able to recommend because of location. And we'd ask that y'all set a special council meeting this week, either Wednesday or Thursday, or even Friday, to do that. It won't take, of course, very long. We've had others that are still trying to find locations, but have not been able to do that, or at least not find one that could be approved. But we do have one that's ready to be considered. So the question is, when could y'all meet?
We'll look at times and
That's
get
fine.
with
Yeah, that works fine.
Melissa and whoever, you, Herman, and find a time we can have a quorum to meet this week.
Thank y'all very much.
All right, anything else from directors, mayor?
No, sir.
Anything else from council?
Yeah, I've actually got two things. The first, it was brought up some time ago, was food trucks. Lee, I think this time of year, obviously, you're not seeing a lot of traffic with food trucks with the temperatures, but I do think as we get ready for spring, if we could look at some way to maybe loosen those restrictions. I do think there needs to be a buffer in there for brick and mortar, but we've seen a lot of activity in downtown. Newer food trucks that were not coming here regularly are now in Decatur, so I think we need to try to loosen that a little bit, and I think now would be a good time to work on that and be ready for the spring. The other is something that it was brought up recently, kind of got me thinking about it, and it was actually in a daily article discussing lodging tax rates. The city's currently at 7%. I believe that's about 2% behind Huntsville, Madison, and some others. I can't remember what Athens is, but some of the other ones. But I think it's something we need to take a look at, a possible increase in that. My opinion would be that those funds would need to go to the city directly to fund projects like quality of life, initiatives that we could work on. This would be a tax that wouldn't be a burden on our citizens, but a way that we could continue to make improvements to quality of life without necessarily diverting funds or using our other tax revenue that should be used for essential city services to use for that. Huntsville, I think they increased theirs 2% in 2017, and that was to pay for an expansion at the Von Braun Center. And then more recently, you saw the Orion, they used future lodging taxes to pay for that amphitheater. I believe 2012 may have been the last time it was addressed in the city of Decatur. So just something I think we should consider, and I wanted to bring it up to the council today.
Yeah, and Councilman Pike had mentioned this to me. I asked him to bring it to this discussion at the end of the meeting. And I'm certainly okay with us looking at something like that and discussing. I think we would need Kyle to run some numbers on what those percentages might bring. And then Herman, if y'all can start to look at maybe what an ordinance might look like, and we can discuss those things in a future meeting. Okay.
Just another point of information. You covered it. Thank you for bringing this up, but it does not bring a burden to our residents whatsoever. It's for people that come and visit Decatur and stay in our hotels.
Right, and then it would be projects that our residents and visitors alike would benefit from. So I think it could be a good thing.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mr. Pike. Anything else from the council? All right, we'll stand adjourned. Thanks. Just that. Yeah, and this is really a good time of year that give them some other option.